What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video in the Tag Mixer series. If you haven't subscribed already, hey, just subscribe, will you? It's free, it costs nothing, and it makes me smile. So I appreciate all that. Today we're just going to jump right into it. I keep trying to get these videos down to 10 minutes. I'm failing miserably as somebody trying to do that. It's just tough, you know? I mean, it's hard to keep videos that short. Anyway, enough rambling. Last time we added some features to add new text to make it change text. So now we're able to make our packages change text. And I was kind of showing you as an advertiser's perspective how you would do that, or what you would want to look for, or like how to create unique keys rather for changing advertising words in your pages. If you look at what I did here, I just created like big change, more words, and these are not like any kind of special characters or anything. What I was doing was creating words that there's no way they would ever be used by anybody else naturally, right? Like I'm speaking a foreign alien language essentially, so that the advertising knows what to do. And then I said I would actually probably mock these up in a spreadsheet and give myself an idea of all the stuff I'm changing. And that way I could come back through and change it at any time, and the package would work. All right, sounds good. Everything's wavy gravy, but here's the problem with that. We've done the font size, the color, the background color, opacity, changing words. Now we're here on href locations. Well, what exactly do I mean? It should be obvious, but anybody who's not super experienced with HTML or links and A's and anchors and that kind of thing, this is basically just a link's location where it's sending it. So when you click a button that says Google, or you click a link that says Google, it goes to Google. And what we want to do is give the option to change the link locations. This could also be for advertising as well. Say that you're split testing a page and you want to send some users down road A who are particularly looking for this product, and maybe send the same users a different set down road B, but you want to do it on the same link in the page, right? Say it's a button or something and you want to change the location of its href, its hypertext reference. Well, we can do that with actually a pretty minimal set of lines of code that we can add to this for our changer. And we're actually going to utilize what I said last time, which is this right here is going to change to say the href you want to change and the new value. So we're going to use that code again, like I was telling you, to give this some expandability. All right. So how do we do all this fancy stuff that I just talked about? Well, we're going to go back to trusty Visual Studio Code. Pull open that tag mixer partials again. This is just the fun page, right? Everything seems to happen in here. Now, we're kind of where we want to be. We want to be in the add the item function again, because we need to create, oh my god, I can't believe it, right? Guess what we're going to have to add? Just stack it with the rest of them, right? Another else if statement. I know, it's getting pretty old, but this is how we do things. So let's go ahead and just steal a little bit of code from straight above. Mostly we're going to open up that starting with the new line. Now the thing is, I technically, yes, could have done an append, I could have done a plus equals, whatever. I'm just trying to write it out longhand so that people can see like the full of what it's doing. And then maybe later I'll break it back. I don't know, maybe not. It doesn't really matter. A lot of this is just to be educational for you guys anyway. And also I learn a lot myself even when I teach stuff. So let's see. What we're going to say is change all link locations. Let's see. Maybe that the user has specified or something like that would probably be fine. Yep. I'm using a lot of specified in here, aren't I? If you look at all my other comments. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Don't pay attention to that. So what we're going to do is we're doing the same thing as last time, which is we are getting this packages box right here. This is our package box, has all the rules. And then we're making it equal the package box and a new line. And then we're going to expand a new line. Perfect. Okay. Now we're ready to write a function. We're actually going to make this a function that cycles through all the links in the page and then changes the ones that have a particular href. Now, why am I doing this? Well, if we just ran a total href replacement and we said replace all links on the page with this link, it's going to replace everything, including navigation, footer links, social links, you name it, it's all going to change. Right, okay, we don't want that. We want to be able to target particular links and change those specific links. Well, you could say change them all based on their ID. Okay, we got to give multiple links the same ID. You're not technically supposed to do that in HTML. You could do them based on class and cycle through and find everyone that has the same class. There's a bunch of ways to do this. As my old programming teacher used to say, like, you know, you can skin the cat 150 gazillion ways, which is true. That was a really long time ago. But anyway, we're going to do a really simple function that finds links that have an existing href we're looking for, and then change those. And instead of writing it right here, let's go ahead and scroll to the bottom. And we're not going to actually write anything down here. I'm actually just going to explain to you what it's doing, and then we're going to be able to take it back up to the top. So I just used Emmet here. And I'm just going to write out this function longhand so you can see exactly what's happening versus having to see it in a kind of a broken up format. You'll understand what I mean here in a second. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to write a for loop, okay? And this is a JavaScript loop. Actually, a lot of programming languages have fors. Most all of them probably, in fact. And they work kind of like this. The first parameter wants a count. And we're going to create the most traditional count variable ever in programming, which is I. I equals 0. That says that that's our starting count number. We're starting at 0. And I've explained this in past videos a lot. Arrays start at 0. Arrays start at 0. When we for loop through the page, it's going to create like kind of an array out of the links. It's going to start at 0. So that's our first typeful item on the page. Okay. Now what it's going to want is the length that this is going to run to, meaning that the upper bound that this for loop is going to run to. It means it's just going to loop every link on the page, but it doesn't know what the count is. It's starting at 0, but how many links are there? That's what we're telling it right now. And the way to do that is we're just going to say L for links. And let's just say L equals document. Got to make sure the spelling is accurate here. Links. And then we're going to say length. Document links is a built-in JavaScript method to get the links on the page, and length is the count of those links. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here. And that's it right there. So now we're saying it's from 0 to the length of the links on the page. I know it's not count. It's kind of interesting, right? Like in Visual Basic, we would say .count, but this syntax wants length. Okay, and we're going to loop as long as I is less than 0. That's also what we're going to tell it. We're going to keep running until as long as I, or not I is less than 0, sorry. We're going to say as long as I is less than L, sorry. As long as I is less than L, and then all we're going to say is every time you cycle, up the count by 1. And then we're going to open up a loop. Okay, so I know that was a little complicated if you're not familiar with how this works. And actually, I don't think that this needs this after it. No, it doesn't. Okay, so what we did is we just created a for loop, and the first parameter it took was it needed a variable to keep the count, which we created I, and that equals 0. Then we grabbed the document links length. That's all the links in the page it's going to be reading from, and it's going to store it in L. So say if there's like 200 links, it's going to equal 200, and then or 199 if it starts at 0. And then we're going to cycle through as long as I is less than L. Okay, that means that it's going to up the count every time it cycles. So it's going to check the first link, and if it's not it plus plus is the I, and now I equals 1, but it still is less than 199. So it cycles. That's what it's doing right here. All right, now that we have that established, we're going to do an interior if statement. And this statement's going to check for if the link that we're currently looking at contains the href that we want. We know we have a link that we need to change for the user. Uh-oh, I just did full screen. I don't want full screen. Was it F11? Yes. Okay. My bad. All right. So here's what we're going to do. In that if statement, it's going to look a little something like this. We're going to say if document dot links. Now remember, this is all the links in the page, and we currently have an integer variable cycling going up in the link count. So in order to open an array, you just use 2 square brackets, and we say I. I will try to slow down and explain this a little more in just a second because I want to make sure you guys understand fully what's happening here. And we're getting its href location in a link. Remember, in HTML, a link looks like this. See how it says href? And it would look like this. All right, so we're sending off to trusty old spy box Google, right? And that is what a link looks like in HTML. So it's cycling all of the links in the page, searching their H references to see where they're going. It's getting this right here, everything between the quotes. Okay, that's what it's looking for. And it's saying if the current link we're cycling, because we're getting the document.links at the count, it's an array of all the links, and it's saying it's 0, at 1, at 2, at 3, the href, if it's equal to, let's just say, for our example, we'll use old Spybox Google again. Okay, so this is like just an example. We're going to remove this and actually place it what the user puts in right here, but I just want to show you. So if the document links at the current link, if the current link that this is cycling through has Google as its href, change this link because this is what the user specified. I hope this is making sense. So in that case, we would say document.links at the same count as above, because the count hasn't changed, if it goes straight into this, equals, now we're setting this link versus getting this link by doing it this way. Okay? And what it's going to equal is, say we wanted to change it to like customsite.com or something. Okay, that's the script right there that we're going to end up writing out in the tag mixer package box. It's going to write this script, and it's going to say it's a for loop. The variable I equals 0, that's our starting count, 0. L, document links length, that's the total amount of count of all links in this page. Just getting every link in the page, and that's the count. Then it's saying, so it's like 199 links. L equals 199. Now it's saying cycle as long as, third parameter, as long as I is less than L. And how do we eventually escape that? We add 1 every single time that this loop cycles. That I++ right there adds 1 to I. So eventually I will equal L, and it will exit this loop. Right, but in the meantime, say it's at 0 and it starts. It says get link right here in that if statement. It says the document links at 0, get its href. And if it equals Google, we need to change it to this. And we're actually, these two variables are going to change based on these two boxes. Okay? So it's going to say the link that you were looking to change and the one that you want to change it to. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to go up and write this at the top now. What we're going to do is take this right here, everything from here back. Okay, because none of that's going to change dynamically. The only thing that's going to change dynamically is these two values. So let's take that back to the top, to where we were working before, right here, after this new line we just created, and let's open up a set of regular quotes, paste that in, just like that. It's okay if it has all that space and everything, that's totally fine. Now, what we just did is we copied everything to the point where I typed into Google. That means that this is where we're going to get the value. So, meaning the href that the document is looking for, the loop is looking for, that wants to be replaced, is whatever the user has entered into this box. So, we can copy that from above. That is document element, this one right here, the element ID to change. So that is now grabbing that. And now we've opened up another set. Let's head on down and grab more code. See, because we just did this part. So now we can grab everything beyond that to the next one. Everything from that single quote or apostrophe to the next one. And put it in right here. And I will recap this at the end, okay? I promise you. I'll try to make sure that you fully understand what's happening here. It is not as complicated as it looks. All right, and then this value is the new value the user entered. This is the new ID value. This is the one that they entered. That's what we want for the second parameter. And then what we're going to do is scroll back down, and we need to grab the rest of this code from this single apostrophe on, just right here, not the script, because it's already in a script tag above. Okay, and we need to place that into there. And I need to bring some of these lines back. Okay. There it is. Okay, so we just took all that code from below. In fact, let's go remove that code from below. All this stuff. All this garbage. All right, and then back up to the top. Oh my. Okay. There we go. Misclicking. Like crazy. All right. So now we have an empty if statement. That's a real problem for us. But the point is the link location is there, and I'll actually break it down to you on the front end. So as you know from our statements above, this is the e.value. We've been talking about this literally the entire time. And what is it going to equal? Well, remember what I said about going down the page to get the options? You can see the option, just copy it. So when the user selects change link href locations, that's when this code is supposed to activate. So back up in that section now, in that e.value, we can paste that in. So now when the user has selected that, this is what it's going to try to do. It's going to add this code. All right, well, that's pretty cool for right here, but the problem is when the user selects that from the dropdown, like when they select change word, it says word to be replaced. When they check href, it says ID of element. Yeah, it has to say href to be changed. So that code that we made down here in the last video for the selected value, guess what we can do? Are you guessing? Are you guessing? Okay. Wow, look at that. Then we just say else if, open up one squiggly, boom, we have a whole nother run ready to go. So we can say change to let user know we want href. And we can just copy this right from above. No problemo. Paste it right down there. And then we can just say something like actual link href, because that's what we want, being changed. Right. Okay, so that's a lot better. The user now has a much better idea of what's... Oh, never mind. No, they don't. This code's going to break immediately because I didn't put anything in the if statement. Once again, this is cell value. And if any of this is confusing, just watch the last video. We programmed all this stuff in the last video. This is a listener that checks to see when this box is dropped down and changed real time, what the user selected, and then it changes the font in this label based on it. So like if you want to replace words, it'll say word to be replaced. If you want to change href now, it's going to have, that's what we just programmed in. It's going to change not from ID. It's actually going to say actual link href being changed. Okay, so let's go back and load this package rule again. We should have new updated fancy dancy options. And then down in here, we should be able to change this to href, and it should say actual link. Okay, perfect. So let's just say like Google. Make sure you put a / on it because it adds a trailing / in WordPress specifically. Okay, and then what we want to do is change it to something like customsite.com and add it. All right, now take a look at what just happened down below. Instead of doing a simple document replace or like a calling to an element by ID, it added that whole loop that we built right here. It added that entire loop. But look at what it did different from the one we had. So it has everything. I equals 0, L to the length of the links, I until I is more than L, I plus plus. If document links at I, href is Google. See that? It replaced it with what the user is looking for the link to be replaced. Then document links at I, href equals custom site. It's saying change it to this value. So that looks like it's going to do what we want it to do. So let's go ahead and save that little piece. Head back over. Are we like way past 10 minutes at this point? I hope not, because I'm really working fast trying to explain it. All right, let's just work extra overtime here. All right, so back in this one here, we're going to open this up. This is just an editor. All I'm doing is doing a fancy way of adding a link. So this is like, let's take the word this and let's throw a link on it. And let's make the URL google.com with that /. Add a link. Now we have a link on the word this. Everything's in the paragraph. We can call that done. Save it. Update the page. And now we're going to have a link on the front end that actually goes to Google. Look, it's sitting in there, right? Right there. It says href google.com. Now, if our package is working correctly, it's going to change anything that says Google to custom site. Let's wait for that little spinning wheel to tell us it's time to go, friend. Giddy up, partner. Giddy up, giddy up. All right. Sound like Kramer. Okay, so let's do a little bit of refreshing here. We should get a link on the word this right there. And if we are somewhat competent, even at all, it will say custom site. Aha! Okay, look in the bottom left corner when I hover on that. See how it says custom site? Look at this. But this still says themify. These are just base themify. I never changed them. Okay. Blog. See how those are all normal? But this now says custom site. Okay, back in the mixer package, just to prove it's working, even though I just did, let's load those rules again because I want to save them again. And let's change it from custom site to, I don't know, like myblog.com. And then we'll actually erase this for it loop and show you that it's going to say Google. Do a little refreshing. Now it's going to say, look at that in the bottom left, myblog.com. So we know that the replacement's now working. And the best part is it's only targeting links that have the original href of google.com. It's not targeting anything else on the page. So here's another place where you could give the href a unique identifier. You could call it like http:// site to change custom.com, and site to change 1, site to change 2, and you can make multiple versions of this output. You can have multiple what am I trying to say? For loops going through the page and changing different links, right? I'm making this so it's totally expandable. You can do whatever you want with this program. I mean, you can change literally everything in a page from start to finish. So we could have like 3 different links, all different for loops going through and changing based on what they are, right? You can customize this whole thing. All right, so let's go ahead and just remove that now, this whole for loop. Actually, I think I have to load these package rules again. I need to just fix that. I'm just being lazy and not fixing it so that I can just keep saving it on top of itself. But I'm just trying to trudge forward. All right, save this package. Save, 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 save. Perfect. Now back in the front end, do a little bit of refreshing. Refreshing. And now it's just going to say Google. Aha. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. I think I'm 20 minutes or something. Oh, my God. All right, but these are some really advanced topics, extremely advanced, especially trying to cram it into such a small video. All right, so look how much we've done so far, man. Let's just take a fast recap on this thing. Look how much we've done. We've done every single option now under here except for change image, which is a very complicated one. And we could do it easy just by cheating and making them go to the media upload and then just grab the link and bring it back. We could do that, but it's not as convenient as having a media uploader button right here and then actually paste in the new value for you. Which is really what I'm thinking I want to do, because that's so much easier, just like having this text selector in here, how I did that, and how it puts the hex value out, so the user doesn't have to go anywhere else if they want to change colors and stuff like that. That's what I think we're going to do, because I just want to keep it nice and neat. But so let's just do a really, really fast recap, because this was a little confusing. So what we did once again is we created in fact, it might be easier to see it out here. We created a href. We're just going to do like hashtag with hashtag 2. That's fine. Okay, and so what we did is we created a for loop. There's actually an extra space on the beginning of it. But the for loop has a variable. The first parameter in a for loop in JavaScript is a counter variable. It has to be set as var, and it can equal anything. This could equal actually anything you want. I could say like the count or whatever, but it has to equal 0. Then L, I could have made this links, link doc, whatever I want to name it as a variable, equals the document, that's getting the whole page, links, it's getting the links automatically, and the length. That's a built-in JavaScript feature. That's why it doesn't need any other descriptions or functions or anything. Then the third parameter is how long should I loop? Well, you should loop until I is greater than L. That means that the count is greater than the amount of links in the page, so there's no more links to get. And then every time it cycles, it ups the count by 1. Plus plus is just a fancy way of saying you could do I equals I plus 1 if you wanted to, probably even right here. And then so it's kind of the same thing. Okay, and then it's checking an if statement. If the current document link, and how am I getting the current document link? Well, the count is 0, and it's getting up to 1 every time. So it's cycling through every link by doing that. So it's getting an array count of whatever it is. So it's saying links, and you use square boxes to open an array. You say at the count, say 0 link. If it's href equals this, ding, 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 it's a winner. Jump into the if statement and change the current one. See how it's 2 equals? That means it's checking the value. Checking. And this one equals is making it equal the value. It's overriding it. Single overwrites, double does a check. Okay, and there's even a triple, but in this case we just need a double for the if and a single for setting it. So, and then we set it to the new value. Now with this line, it's only going to target those particular links we want to change. If we were just to change all the document links in a page without identifying the ones we want, it would be messy and it would change every link in the page to equal custom site or whatever. Okay. So that's what we did. Then we added another another if statement to our onChange event that just looks for it to be this item and changes this text accordingly versus change it towards to be replaced. And then anything else just says element ID of element to modify. Okay, I think that's going to wrap us up. Once again, if you ain't subscribed, you just hit that subscribe button. Come on. It's easy. It's free. And it's really helpful to me. And it makes me smile. And it makes me want to keep making more videos. And I hope that was pretty well easy for you to comprehend. I know that if you don't have any JavaScript experience, this was probably really difficult. But then again, this whole course series would be difficult on this particular plugin. Anyway, so now we're getting into the real nitty-gritty right here with this change image. That's going to be our next video, perhaps 2. And then at that point, we can actually start programming in the source and the key. And those are some big deals because that's going to really make this thing take off. It's going to give us a ton more options. So, and then after that, I'm going to just kind of clean it up a little bit, and then maybe we'll move on to actually making like a video series on how it works, and then actually turning it into a real wrapped up plugin, and maybe submitting it to WordPress. And like I said, that's the fun part where we get denied, and then they don't give us any reason. But anyway, hey, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one where we go ahead and just keep working on this thing, and I'll try to keep those ones shorter. It's going to be so difficult, though, because it's change image. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next part.